You know, I can't remember who actually said it, but I remember reading a really great depiction of Spock's beard a couple of years ago, just before they released their self-titled work. And it went along the lines of something like this. Spock's beard is very much like the Dean Koontz of progressive rock. They might not be the best, and they might not be the most trailblazing of all bands, but they always guarantee a good listen. And I know I'm paraphrasing, but that really summarized what Spock's beard was for me for the longest time. They might not be the greatest, but they are well known, and they definitely have an enjoyable listen every time they put out an album. And it's very difficult to find a bad album. Now, this definitely countered as the albums progressed, especially right after their self-titled work. Ever since that had dropped, each subsequent album has been getting better and better and better. And for a while there, that quote didn't hold any water anymore. In fact, I would say they were actually pushing the boundaries and producing some very brilliant and very masterful albums. Unfortunately, I don't know if the same can be said for this next one. Hello, I'm Notes, and we have a new album from progressive rock legends Spock's beard. I know it's kind of odd to actually say they're progressive rock legends, but they've been around for quite a while. When the four men of this band, Neil Morse, left right after their double concept album, I felt like they were starting to struggle. They were having a hard time finding their place again. And it wasn't until that self-titled, 3 albums after the lead singer-songwriter of Neil Morse left, they started to find their feet again. They started to find out, okay, what are we post-Neil? And I'm glad that they did, because for a long time there, those 3 albums, the self-titled one, X, and Brief Nocturnes and Sleepless Incidents, those are 3 of my favorite Spock's Beard albums, and that includes discography with Neil in the band. So I was very excited when I found out that the Oblivion particle was going to drop this summer. But with the Oblivion particle, I'm going to start off right from the get-go and say I'm actually pretty disappointed with this release from them. I feel like that momentum, that inertia that was going forward from the past few albums that they have dropped had stopped. Doesn't seem to be quite as many grand moments on this album, unlike previous albums. Those meaty hooks that we found from like Jaws of Heaven, or Something Very Strange, or those like really meaty songs, they're not as evident on this album. And unlike those subtle tunes that we've got from those past albums, even those subtle moments are really hard to find on this new release from them. But let's get down to the nitty-gritties. Let's get down to, I guess, why I was a little disappointed with this album as a whole. Really, there's no real standout tracks. As I mentioned before, there's no real meat here. Like, there are some songs that I do dig, and there are some really good songs that I enjoy listening to. For example, Bennett Built a Time Machine. I really enjoyed this song in that it balances very well some deep and almost dark tones in that bridge section of the song. Very well with a very light and a very airy kind of a feel with that beginning portion of the song. You have an acoustic guitar that kind of just has that floating sensation. And then once you get down into the song, you find that it's quite deep. It's quite dark in that tone. And so I really like that song. And right after that, Get Out While You Can. And this is one of the main reasons why I really like the development of Spock's Beard. They've been able to really dish out that emotion that is behind some of the vocals. See, I love that new vocalist of Ted Leonard. He's got that power that I felt like Spock's Beard never really captured with Morse. Now again, I love all of Morse's stuff, but I felt like there was a power. I mean, the passion was definitely there for Morse, but there was more of a power with Ted. And I feel like with songs such as Get Out While You Can, it really has that power, it has that passion. And I really enjoy his vocals on this. You can feel that energy, that immediacy that is needed on that track. I do love their use of that sound effect I know that there's probably a technical term for this sound effect. The last time I heard it from a prog group, it was with Marillion Sounds That Can't Be Made. So when you hear it, you'll know it for sure. And I love the use of it, and I think it should be used a lot more because it's a really neat sound effect. So I really love that Get Out While You Can, and unfortunately, it's the shortest song on the album, and it's heartbreaking when your favorite song is also the shortest song on the album, and it's not even the single from the album either. It's just the shortest song, and it's almost as though it was made to be almost one of those filler songs, but instead it happens to be one of the strongest songs on this album.
The sirens start their song. Get out while you can. Get out while you can.
The other song that I really enjoy listening to, The Center Line, but it's a very strange song and one that I need to talk about a little bit. See, it starts off beautifully with Rio, and Rio has always been one of my favorite pieces of this band. Just his ability to make so much beautiful music with the keyboards and with the piano. So on the opening of this track of The Center Line, he just touches a little bit onto the classical piano just to set the stage. And then once that's in, it goes into more of like a cowboy western guitar, and I love that driving force for a song. I love those kinds of sounds. You know, you can almost picture back in the Old West with a cowboy just riding across the plains, and I love that image, and I love that energy that is brought to this song because of that. The only downside is that jam session that happens near the end of the song, near that bridge. It doesn't really fit the song very well. It doesn't fit that energy because the bridge is very mellow. It's very slow. It's just a lower piece of music. And I feel, even though I love that energy that the acoustic guitar brought to this song, with that slower bridge and that slower interlude, it doesn't quite fit very well. And then of course the song ends again with Rio playing us out. So the song is a very strange setup in that I half love the song and half is just kind of disinterested with that song. And of course the album ends with Disappear, and this is the final song that I really connected with on this album, even though ironically enough the song just disappears at the end. When I first heard this song, I was surprised that this was the end of the album. I thought there's got to be some kind of mistake, it just kind of disappears. I know that does go with the actual theme of the song. Nobody's really going to miss us anyway, so let's just disappear. And I do love that play out. That is a very good way to end the album, even though it's kind of cut short. So yeah, I mean, I really hope that I could talk more about how great or how brilliant this song was, but unfortunately I really can't. This is the first just alright album this band has put out probably since Octane. Now I see this album getting some really rave reviews, so hopefully I'm wrong, and please tell me in the comments that I'm wrong and that this album is really brilliant and there's just something that I'm missing. But from where I'm standing right now, it's just nothing really special for me. Overall, I have to say that this album is worthy of streaming with earbuds. I would recommend having to listen to it first before doing any kind of a commitment with it. Perhaps you'll connect with it a lot more than I did. And that's about it. Again, please tell me I'm wrong in the comments. Let me know what you thought about this album. It's getting some really good reviews, so perhaps I'm just missing something here. And also, what was your favorite Spock's Beard album? Do you feel like they've really stretched their wings since Neil has left? Or do you feel they should incorporate some of his songwriting styles back into the band? Again, let me know below. And that's about it. Okay, notes out.